Welcome to the One Year Book of Mormon. A non-Mormon reads through the Book of Mormon. Mosiah 27, Chapter Overview. The wicked people continue to persecute and oppress the believers, though how this happened we aren't told, especially with good Mosiah still king. So Mosiah tells them to stop and there's peace in the land, and the people grow and prosper and spread out, building cities and villages everywhere. Among the unbelievers are the sons of Mosiah and Alma's son, also named Alma. So this gets confusing. There's Alma the elder and Alma the younger, and they're not usually distinguished very clearly. The younger Alma is visited by an angel who basically paralyzes him and strikes him dumb. The elder Alma prays for him and he is restored. This causes the younger Alma and the sons of Mosiah to reform and to attempt to restore the damage that they had previously done to the church. Despite the length of the chapter, there really isn't much to say specifically except these few points. In verse 5, it is again said that priests and teachers should labor with their own hands for their support, in all cases, save it were in sickness or in much want. And doing these things, they did abound in the grace of God. As I said in previous posts, this goes against the pattern and instruction we have in both the Old Testament and the New Testament, in which the priests and teachers and preachers are to be supported by the people. This definitely goes against the law of Moses. So we need to remember that when they claim to keep the law of Moses. Further, I'd be curious to know how Joseph Smith and Brigham Young worked to support themselves. Somehow I don't picture them plowing their own fields with their own oxen. Verse 6 says, the people began to be very numerous and spread out, building large cities and villages in all quarters of the land. But of course we have no evidence of any of this in the Americas. Where we have evidence of large ancient cities, we know that they were not built by the Book of Mormon peoples. In verse 9, speaking of the wicked younger Alma, it says he caused much dissension among the people, giving a chance for the enemy of God to exercise his power over them. Is it just me, or is this saying that dissension is giving a chance for the devil to exercise his power over you? So if Mormons ever disagree with each other about anything, isn't that dissension and them giving the devil power over them? The bulk of the chapter concerns Alma's angelic visitation and his subsequent conversion. The part about the angel sounds like it was cobbled together from several different places in the Bible, including Paul's experience on the road to Damascus, and other places where angels or God visited man. But the part that I want to focus on is the heavy emphasis the Book of Mormon here and elsewhere places on being born again, which is quite the reverse of what modern Mormonism does. Verses 25 through 26 even define being born again as born of God, changed from their carnal and fallen state to a state of righteousness, being redeemed of God, becoming his sons and daughters. And thus they become new creatures, and unless they do this, they can in no wise inherit the kingdom of God, with verse 27 saying that if this be the case, they must be cast off. This is very biblical, but very unlike modern Mormonism. Note that here, as in the Bible, everybody is said to be carnal and fallen until and unless they are born again or born of God, which is equated to being redeemed of God and becoming his sons and daughters. Modern Mormonism says that all humans already are God's sons and daughters, so they don't really have a good answer for why we need to become his sons and daughters again. Note also that here we are again given only two options: inherit the kingdom of God or be cast off, not three levels of heaven plus outer darkness. Verse 31 says, yea, every knee shall bow, and every tongue confess before him, yea, even at that last day, when all men shall stand to be judged of him, then shall they confess that he is God. Then shall they confess who live without God in the world, that the judgment of an everlasting punishment is just upon them, and they shall quake and tremble and shrink beneath the glance of his all-searching eye. Again, this is saying that those who live without God in this world are judged and justly punished with everlasting punishment. Not that these people who live without God in the world, that is, they're wicked all of their lives and die in an unrepentant state, they're given multiple chances in the afterlife to change their minds. So we see modern Mormonism disagrees with the Book of Mormon.